The history of the Vikings. The Vikings were people of Scandinavian origin, modern-day Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, who had a significant impact on Europe from the late 8th century to the 11th century. Here's a detailed account of their history and culture. Origins of the Vikings. The Vikings were farmers, traders, craftsmen, and warriors from the Scandinavian peninsula. Their homeland was known for its harsh climate and challenging natural conditions. Since much of their land was not suitable for agriculture, they turned to the sea. Their expertise in seafaring and shipbuilding enabled them to excel both in trade and expeditions. The Viking Age 793–1066. The Viking Age is typically considered to have begun in 793 with the raid on the monastery at Lindisfarne in England. This marked the start of a period when Europe became familiar with Viking raids. However, the Vikings were not just raiders and warriors. They were also traders, explorers, and settlers. Early raids and expeditions. The Vikings conducted attacks on coastal areas and river routes throughout Europe. Thanks to their fast, long ships, they could penetrate deep inland. Settlement and colonization. The Vikings did not merely plunder, they also settled in conquered lands. Examples include Normandy. In 911, the King of France granted this region to the Viking leader Rollo. British Isles. The Danelaw region was established in England. Iceland and Greenland. Vikings settled in these distant lands. Leif Erikson is believed to have reached North America, Vinland, around 1000 AD. Trade networks. The Vikings established an extensive trade network that stretched from Eastern Europe to the Islamic world. They traded silk, furs, slaves, spices, and other goods. Viking culture and society. Viking society had a strict social hierarchy. Jarl nobles. The upper class, typically wealthy landowners and leaders. Carl, free farmers and craftsmen. The middle class, consisting mostly of farmers, traders, and artisans. Thrall, slaves, the lowest class, often made up of prisoners captured in wars. Religion and beliefs. The Vikings followed pagan beliefs. Their gods included Odin, god of wisdom and war, Thor, god of thunder, and Freya, goddess of love and fertility. Ragnarok represented the end of the world in Viking mythology. Shipbuilding and seafaring. Viking ships were renowned for their long and narrow designs. They could navigate both open seas and rivers, enabling the Vikings to reach distant regions quickly. The impact of the Vikings. The Vikings left a profound mark on European history and culture. Military power. Many medieval European kingdoms developed defensive strategies to counter the Vikings. Language and culture. Many English words, such as sky and husband, have Viking origins. Governance and law. The Vikings had a form of democratic governance. Assemblies called things played a crucial role in decision-making. The end of the Viking Age. The Viking Age is often considered to have the Battle of Hastings in 1066. In this battle, Norwegian King Harald Hardrada was defeated, signaling the decline of Viking military power in Europe. Additionally, the spread of Christianity in Scandinavia led to changes in the Vikings' pagan beliefs and traditional way of life. The legacy of the Vikings. The Vikings left an indelible mark on history through their heroic tales and maritime achievements. Today, Scandinavian countries view Viking culture as a source of pride and embrace this heritage. Viking mythology and religion. Viking mythology, deeply rooted in Norse paganism, is a complex system of gods, rituals, and cosmological beliefs. The Norse pantheon. Odin, the Allfather, associated with wisdom, poetry, war, and death. He sacrificed his eye for knowledge and hung himself on the world tree, Yggdrasil, to gain the rune's secrets. Thor, a protector of humanity, wielding the hammer Mjolnir, which symbolized strength and fertility. Thor, a protector of humanity, wielding the hammer Mjolnir, which symbolize strength and fertility. Loki, a trickster god, often causing chaos, but also aiding the gods in critical situations. Freya, goddess of love, fertility, and war, often linked with the afterlife. Half of those who died in battle would join her in Folkvanger, while the other half went to Odin's hall, Valhalla. The Nine Realms. The cosmos was divided into 9 realms, including Asgard, home of the gods, Midgard, the human world, and Helheim, the realm of the dead. These realms were connected by Yggdrasil, the world tree. Rituals and sacrifices. The Vikings practiced animal and at times human sacrifices to appease their gods. Sacred groves and temples, such as the one at Uppsala, Sweden, were central to these practices. Ragnarok, the prophesied apocalypse where gods and giants would battle, leading to the destruction and rebirth of the world. Viking technology and innovation. The Vikings were not only raiders but also skilled engineers and innovators. Longships. Designed for speed and versatility, Viking longships could navigate both open seas and shallow rivers. They featured clinker-built hulls, overlapping wooden planks for strength and flexibility. The addition of a steering oar on the starboard side improved maneuverability. Weaponry. Viking warriors favored swords, axes, and spears, often ornately decorated. Shields were circular and painted, serving both as protection and status symbols. Mail armor and helmets, though not horned, as popular myth suggests, were used by wealthier warriors. Runes and writing. Vikings used the runic alphabet, known as Futhark, for inscriptions, ranging from memorial stones to magical charms. Runes were considered sacred and were often used in divination. Viking exploration and colonization. The Vikings were unparalleled explorers who reached lands far beyond Scandinavia. North America. Around 1000 AD, Leif Erikson, the son of Eric the Red, reached Vinland, believed to be part of modern-day Newfoundland, Canada. Archaeological sites at Lonso Meadows confirm Viking presence in North America. Iceland and Greenland. Iceland was settled in the late 9th century, becoming a hub of Viking culture and governance. Eric the Red established settlements in Greenland, where Viking farmers adapted to the harsh Arctic conditions. Eastern Europe and Asia. The Vikings, known as Varangians in the east, established trade routes along rivers like the Volga and Dnieper. They founded the Rus state, the precursor to modern Russia, and served as mercenaries in the Byzantine Empire's Varangian Guard. Viking society and daily life. Viking society was a blend of practicality, community, and tradition. Family and gender roles. Women had significant rights compared to other contemporary societies, including owning property, initiating divorce, and participating in trade. Men typically engaged in farming, raiding, or trading. Economy. A barter-based economy, supplemented by silver as currency. Skilled artisans produced high-quality goods, including jewelry, tools, and textiles. Food and drink. Diets consisted of fish, meat, grains, and dairy. Mead, a fermented honey drink, was a favorite beverage.